Hey all! So this is the first of a pair of videos that I've wanted to do for a long time now, but never got around to because of how long it would have taken to write and edit between all my other projects. Now though, the kind fans over at my Patreon page have overwhelmed me with support, and as a big thank you for that, I'm taking the time to bring the spotlight back to Pokemon for a bit, and I'm going to talk about my favorite Pokemon ever! And I can't just do a top 10 either, because no, with over 700 of these buggers, narrowing down my dearest favorites to just 10 seems downright cruel. Seriously, 20 was as low as I could get the list without feeling I was cutting out essential Pokemon. I'll try not to go on for too long about each one, but either way this is still probably going to be a long couple of videos, so I hope you like those. Strap in, kids! We are counting down ErynCerise's top 20 favorite Pokemon. Number 20. Cavalier. Cavalier became an unexpected favorite of mine through Pokemon Showdown. A while back I was building an OU team with Scizor on it, and while I liked that Scizor only had one weakness, something about it just wasn't working for that team. I wanted a Pokemon that kept that type coverage, and at the same time I also happened to need a Pokemon that could deal with annoying Spore users like Smeargle and Breloom. Then I realized there was one Pokemon that fit both needs. With its Overcoat ability, amazing Bug Steel typing, and a powerful 135 base attack, Cavalier fit the hole in my team perfectly. And even though it's usually more of an RU type due to its lack of speed and recovery, it performed significantly better than I expected. It endeared itself to me with Megahorn after devastating Megahorn, and combined with its adorably squat little angry face and cool as heck spear arms, I knew I had a great new long-term friend on my side. Number 19. Cradle E. This one is on the list for mainly one reason, and that is not safe for work. For a better and more enthusiastic summary than I could ever give, I highly suggest you watch Dookie Shed's video about how Cradle E will F you up. Other than the obvious though, I also just like using Cradle E in battle. It's a great stall Pokemon and can pull a whole whack of creative troll strategies when handled right. Plus it's kinda weirdly cute. It's got a bulbous green head and little old stumpy legs. It looks like a giant baby brontosaurus. With 8 What's not to love? Number 18. Venomoth. Even before the world saw the might of the all-terrain Venomoth in Twitch Plays Pokemon Red, I always held a candle for this little purple moth. Venomoth is not the most useful thing competitively, but its design is solid in that simple yet memorable Gen 1 kind of way, with cute little bug eyes, pretty wings, and a very cool crest. It also never felt that overexposed like Butterfree and Beedrill did thanks to their early in-game availability. I think the Venomoth that boosted the whole lineup for me even further was Luna, a Venomoth I caught in a leaf green randomizer wedlock. She lost many partners, but kept pushing onward anyway before making it to the Elite Four with her beloved Silky the Dugong. I was so proud, and her strength in the face of adversity definitely justifies her species' a spot on my list of favorites. Number 17. Arbok. Another underappreciated two-stage Pokemon, though maybe slightly better appreciated than the previous two thanks to its prominent role in early seasons of the anime as the partner of Jessie from Team Rocket. I think every kid who grew up watching the anime at that time remembers that distinct vocal performance combined with an absolutely badass look make up for it being kind of a mediocre battler in-game. At least it can coil? Coil. Oh well, I still love you, Arbok. I love snakes in real life, and the next time I'm able to get a pet, it probably will be a snake. So that kind of throws a bit of bias its way as well. Keep on slitherin'! Number 16. The Chikorita line. This entire line is near and dear to me, but if I had to pick just one of them, I'd go for good old Chikorita itself. It is famously the least popular pick among the Johto starters, namely because Johto is so hard on grass types until later in the game, and by that time there are stronger grass types available anyway. I never saw it that way as a kid playing through the English version of Gold for the first time, though. All I saw was an adorable leaf monster with a cute necklace, and I was smitten. So I took my first Chikorita through the game, evolved it up through Bayleaf and Meganium, and battled with it to the Elite Four and beyond. Sadly, my original Gold cartridge's battery died, but my original Meganium still lives on in my memories. And in the Idol Lock, Hibiki has carried on the torch for her most excellently, with her fabulous voice and powerful pedal dance. Number 15. Gardevoir. Used to be a lot higher up on my list of favorites, almost reaching the number 1 spot at times. It used to be on the bumper for my videos, even. So what made it dip down? Well, in short, the internet. I won't get into much detail here, but there are certain portions of the internet that are a little too into Gardevoir. Enough so that it kinda makes you feel gross for liking it too. But I don't want to let those people completely ruin an amazing Pokemon for me, because Gardevoir is still pretty great. Especially now that it has added Fairy typing and the absolute floofiest, most regal-looking Mega Evolution around. Gardevoir is more than just a pretty face, too. With decent speed and great special stats, this twiggy Pokemon can become a psychic force to be reckoned with, even more so once it Mega Evolves. I still have my original Gardevoir from Pokemon Ruby, Sana, and I trained one named Esmenet in my first run of Pokemon X as well, both of whom I love dearly. Don't let the horrible internet get you down, girls. You'll always be great friends to me. Number 14. Serperior. Oh look! My love of grass types and snakes together in one Pokemon! To me, the Snivy line was by far the best of the starters in Gen 5, both in terms of design and usefulness. Even before Contrary Serperior became a part of the Courage OU metagame, I loved how my Serperior performed in-game with its high-powered grass moves and untouchably aloof attitude. It's too bad Hex, the starter of my Volt White 2 Order Lock, couldn't have lived long enough to evolve into one, because Serperior is Grass Dragon in Drayano's hacks. Mega Sceptile? Come on! If anything was going to be Grass Dragon, it really should have been Serperior. Can't you imagine this thing on, like, friggin' the Welsh flag or something? Plus it already gets access to Dragon Tail, Dragon Pulse, and Outrage. Combine Stab Dragon Pulse with Leaf Storm and Contrary and just... Game Freak! Grass Dragon Mega Serperior for Gen 7! Please? Please? Number 13. Wigglytuff. To those thinking that maybe I'm a little weird for wanting a snake as a pet, don't worry. I like cute and fuzzy things as much as anyone. To be honest, true number 1 pet for me would probably be a rabbit. Seeing as I lack the resources and skills to properly care for one, though, I don't trust myself to actually get one. Oh well, at least I can still care for pink digital cartoon rabbits instead. Even more so than the iconic Jigglypuff, Wigglytuff has always been high on my cuteness radar thanks to its adorable rabbit ears, big chubby body, tiny limbs, fabulous hair, and dewy blue eyes. This one's more of a purely aesthetic pick for me because its stats landed smack dab in the PU tier battle-wise. However, it does at least have a wide move pool thanks to its Gen 1 privilege, so I can at least have my chubby pink bunny wreck things in-game with Ice Beam and Hyper Beam, Solar Beam, Charge Beam, all the beams! Laser Beam Rabbit is go! Pew 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 motherfucker! Number 12. Natu and Xatu. Though they've been around since Generation 2, over 15 years now, both Natu and Xatu still feel like mysterious and fresh Pokemon to me. Despite my love of their designs, I haven't trained many of them in-game due to the lack of easily accessible places you can find them. For that reason, I've always associated the line more with Will and his 2 Xatu in the Gold and Silver Elite Four, where not only were they tough to deal with for me as a kid, but it felt like a rare opportunity to see not 1, but 2 of this really cool Pokemon I so rarely got to encounter. Nowadays, in addition to its beautiful totem-inspired design, I can also appreciate its extremely useful Magic Bounce ability, which I've used to great effect on Natu in Little Cup Showdown battles. It is so satisfying to see Leech Seeds, Stealth Rocks, and Toxics get bounced right back in their opponents' faces. Nice work, Natu. Number 11. Chino. In addition to being a fuzzy cute thing, which is almost always guaranteed points with me, Cinccino is an interesting Pokemon to use in battle thanks to its high speed, attack, and the move Tail Slap, which combos well with two of its abilities, Technician and Skill Link. Either way, Cinccino is a normal-type powerhouse that looks ultra classy to boot. Two particular Cinccinos stand out in my mind as well. One is my own Cinccino, Brian, who I played through Pokemon White 2 with. The other is Polka, a longtime member of Maryland's team in his Black 2 wedlock. Both of these Cinccino were around long enough in their respective runs to seem like good friends to me by the end. And they sure as heck helped boost their entire species way, way up in my esteem. Number 10. Togekiss. Up until Gen 4, I really didn't like the Togepi line at all. Togepi was meant to be a precious little baby. Oh, he's so cute. Adorable. No, all I saw was a shrill egg with a bad haircut. Get out of here. And Togetic, let's face it, barely even registers as a Pokemon in my memory. When Diamond and Pearl rolled around, though, the line was finally blessed with an upgrade. Togekiss. Unlike other Gen 4 evolutions, which felt like over-designed monstrosities with no good reason to exist, Togekiss felt like the final stage that should have been there from the start. Togetic had never felt like a fully matured Pokemon, while Togekiss looks overjoyed to be finally taking to the skies as an adult bird? Cloud? Plane? Not only that, but with its stats, move pool, Serene Grace ability, and now added Fairy typing, it is a massively annoying threat in the OU tier. My favorite Togekiss is probably Sherlock, Tortimer the Grey's Togekiss from Season 3 of his Hexathlog series, which you should definitely go check out. Number 9. Staryu and Starmie. Ever since I was a kid, I always thought these two starfish were unique for their lack of something that most Pokemon have. Faces! Pokemon are generally designed to be cool or cute, but above all, they're creatures that are supposed to be friends and partners. The easiest way to make something feel relatable and friendly is to give it a face so it's easier to determine the thing's emotions, wants, and needs. Seems like a big risk to create a pair of Pokemon that don't have any easy way to emote to their trainers. And yet, Staryu and Starmie frequently appeared in the anime as loyal partners to Misty that she clearly cared about, and so we cared about them too. I've always felt that was really cool. And on top of that, both stars are really useful in battle too. In their respective tiers, they're both fast, decently strong water types who can take a few hits before going down. They both got wide move pools, and of course they're the OG Rapid Spinners. I especially learned the power of Starmie in my trek through Pokemon Volt White 2, where Ray the Starmie handily led us to victory against Iris in the Elite Four, leveling up to 100 after beating the final Pokemon of the final battle. Ray will always be one of my most treasured partners, and that definitely helps snag her line a secure spot in the top 10. Number 8. The Bulbasaur line. Yep, you knew this was coming. You never forget your very first starter. All the way back when I first started Pokemon Red, I picked Bulbasaur to be different from a bunch of the other kids on the playground who were all picking either Charmander or Squirtle. That wasn't all there was, though. I also just thought Bulbasaur was cool and adorable, and I loved dinosaurs to boot, so what wasn't to love about a squat little dinosaur with a flower bulb on its back? It was a match made in Pokemon heaven, and so we began our first journey together. As the game went on, my Bulbasaur became an Ivysaur, and of the entire Bulba line, Ivysaur is honestly my favorite. It's the perfect mix of cool and pretty, with a determined expression, fierce fangs, and a lovely pink flower to spice up its all-green color scheme. Venusaur is cool too, and is an amazing battler, especially with the introduction of Mega Venusaur in Gen 6. However, I never really liked the way it looked as much as I did its pre-evolutions. Still, the whole line will always hold a very special place in my heart for getting me started in the Pokemon universe on the right foot. Thanks, Bulbasaur. Number 7. Sidra. Another middle evolution that I like better than its first or final form. And in this case, I can't even list it with Horsea or Kingdra in good conscience. Sure, I like Horsea fine, but it's just kind of generically cute and really underwhelming in battle, even in Little Cup. And Kingdra's alright, but, well, I know lots of people like it, but to the secret whiny Gen 1er in me, the horsey line will always stop with Sidra. Sidra's design is just the perfect way to make a seahorse look badass. I mean, have you ever seen an angrier seahorse? Look at that puffed out chest! Look at that ridged brow giving it a permanent death glare! Look at those goddamn fins! You know what those sharp-ass fins have in them? Poison! Sidra isn't even poison type! And yet it seethes with so much rage that it can will poison into existence where none should be. Compare it to Kingdra, who honestly just looks kind of over-designed and, like, has wiggly stuff sticking out everywhere. Plus it looks emotionless, which is a letdown compared to the Sidra Death Glare. Sure, it's Water Dragon, which is an amazing type combo, but, man, it's still just never going to impress me as much as Sidra always has. Number 6. Chandelure. Ah, see? Now here's a final evolution done right. Litwick and Lampent are both decent realizations of the whole ghost light concept, and they're cute enough, but Chandelure is the one that really shines both literally and figuratively. You could easily take the idea of a Chandelure Pokemon and make it as awkward and reviled as Vanillux or Gardevoir, because come on, how dumb does a Chandelure Pokemon sound? But whoever was in charge of Chandelure went all out Tim Burton on this thing, turning it into a legitimately beautiful spectral creation. Never mind how fantastic a battler it is. Chandelure is wicked speedy, and has frighteningly high special attack, plus its unique ghost fire typing gives it access to a great range of moves including Shadow Ball, Flamethrower, and Energy Ball. Those last two especially worked well on Hepburn, another Pokemon that I used in the Volt White 2 Order Lock and loved bringing out into battle. Hepburn eventually retired as a credit to his team and is happily hanging out in the Pokemon retirement home with his good buddy Elric the Aggron to this day. Thanks, old buddy. Whew, I gotta stop there for a bit. I know we're closing in on the top ranks, but I have so much to say about the top 5 that it's probably gonna take as long as this video, if not longer. See you guys in part 2 whenever I am able to get time to edit it. Goodbye!